Welcome friends. In this session, we are going to cover project management, which is unit 4 of your course, Production Management. I am Dr. Ashish Agarwal, course coordinator for your this course, Production Management. The first question which will come to your mind, what is project? The term project may be defined as a series of related jobs directed towards some major output with a significant period of time. Project management is defined as a planning, directing and controlling resources, for example, materials, people, equipment, to meet the time, cost and the manpower constraint. So first we have defined what is project, and then we have defined what is project management. Another definition of project management, it is concerned with a pursuit of a specific goal using given resources over a defined time period. A very beautiful example of project management is the construction of house or construction of flyover, construction of hospital, because it involves the several activities and we have to use certain resources and we have to complete the task within a stipulated period of time. If we see the learning objectives for today's session, after this session you should be able to understand what is project and what is project management. You will able to learn critical path method. You will be able to know program evaluation and review techniques. You will also understand the cost time trade-off, and you will also learn resource constraint scheduling. So let us start one by one. Again, we are going to define the project management. It consists of interrelated activities which are executed in a certain order before the entire task is completed. The success of any project depends on the effective project management. That you should understand that any project can be successful only if we are implementing or managing the project in an effective manner. Project is correctly designed to meet the objective. When the project objective and the outcomes are fully agreed by all regions involved, the objectives are achievable and objective satisfy the customer need. In case of flyover, the customer need is to minimize the traffic congestion, so it satisfies the objective. It is achievable because of the financial constraint, and the objective is to connect one end of the route with the another end, and the outcome is the minimization of traffic congestion. That is fully logical and agreed by the regions. Now, before going in details, we want to categorize the project. The project can be pure project can be functional project, or the project can be matrix project. So if we see out of 3, the first one, that is pure project, requires the self-contained teams that gives their full time into the project. Now we will discuss what are the merits of the pure project. Here the project manager has the full authority over the project members of the project team report to the team manager. They do not have any worry about dividing the loyalty with a functional area manager. The line of communication is short and decisions are made quickly. Demerits of pure project: equipment and the people are not shared across the projects. Therefore, there is a duplication of resources. Here I just want to explain this line. Suppose an organization have 2 or 3 projects, and in each project the equipment and people are not shared. Therefore, there is a duplication of equipment and we have to keep different pupils as a different team in different projects. That is why it is said there is a duplication of resources. So it is expensive. Organization goals and the policies are ignored as the team members often both physically and psychologically removed from the headquarters. Example is your flyover, dams, where all the team's members are placed at the site only. This is an example of a functional project, and you just see that each function department carries the different project, that is ABC. Some are involved in only 2 projects, some are involved in only 1 project. Therefore, we say that functional project comprises functional division. Now, merits of the second type of project. Here, the team member can work on the several projects. Technical expertise is maintained within a functional area even if individual leave the project or the organization. Team members continue their regular functional jobs. Functional specialists can advance vertically. A critical mass of specialized function areas expert create synergistic solution to a project technical problem. Now we will discuss the demerits of the project. Project manager does not have complete authority over the team. Motivation of the team members is often weak. Needs of the clients are secondary and they are responded slowly. This is the example of the matrix project, where you see it is a combination of earlier 2 projects. Here you just see the manager for project A, manager for project B and manager for project C. They take the opinion from the different functional groups. Different projects borrows resources from the functional areas. It comprises traits of both functional and the pure project. The merits are the communication is enhanced. Project manager is held responsible for successful completion, so there is accountability. Duplication of resources is minimized because the same resources is shared between the 2 projects or among the projects, so there is a least duplication of resources. Team members have a functional home after the project completion, so they have less worried about the life after the project, and there is a pure project organization in case of the matrix project. It allows efficient utilization of resources. Team members can communicate with project as well as functional managers, so there is no such type of a conflict, but the team members have the dual reporting relationship. They have to report to their project manager as well as they have to report to the functional manager. There are chances of conflicts between the managers, means the managers of the project and the managers of the functional group. It is doomed to failure unless the project manager have the strong negotiating skill, or in other words we can say the communication skill. Sub-optimization is dangerous in case of matrix project, as the project managers hoard the resources for the resources for their own project. So there is a less chances of sub-optimization. After studying the different types of project, we would discuss the different phases of the project management. There are 3 phases of any project management, that is project planning, project scheduling, and project controlling. The planning includes goal setting, defining the projects, and the team organization. The scheduling includes the relating the pupil, money, and supplies to the specific activities, and relate the activities to each other with respect to the time. Finally, in the last phase, it is basically your monitoring or project controlling. It monitor the resources in terms of cost, quality, and the budget. The last term sometimes we also called as the project closeout. That means what are the different activities which are required at the time of closing the project. If we focus on the project planning, then project is defined as a series of related tasks directed towards a major output. In order to reach the desired goal of productivity, foremost project team is formed and the project manager is appointed to lead the team. In project planning, the manager coordinates the activity of the team, reports directly to the top management. So there is no communication gap between the top management and the manager. He has to report the daily progress or the activity to the top management. He gives high visibility within the organization and ensures the cooperation among the project team member. The manager tries to establish an organization known as the project organization in the beginning of the project so that efficient plan can be developed. The project organization is responsible for the other phases of the project, that is scheduling and the controlling of the project. Project manager, team manager, and the organization, in combination with each other, they play a significant role throughout the project period to make the project successful. Now we will discuss project scheduling. Under the project scheduling, there are sequencing of activities, allotting time to all project activities. At this stage, the project manager decides how long the activity will take and try to compute the allocation or the material and manpower. Manager also prepare the separate schedule for the personal lead. One of the most important and popular project scheduling approach is the Gantt chart. The Gantt chart are the low-cost means of helping the manager that reveals the planning, time estimation, overall project time of the project. Basically, initially, we have only make the Gantt chart. Gantt chart looks like this. On the left side, you will see different tasks just like planning, research, design, implementation, and follow-up. And on the right hand side, we have the time frame, and in the purple color we have given for example planning from middle of June 19 to March 19. Similarly, follow-up will be middle of June 19 to July 19. That will give you a first impression or the idea that what are the different activities and how they are moving in a timely manner. Under the project scheduling, we have the activities which have their start time and the end time, and we always find that how it is updated easily. And the basic problem with the Gantt chart is that it does not show the interdependence of activity. You just recall the picture which we have shown, that we have shown the different activities, but the interdependence of activities is not depicted in the Gantt chart. It is difficult to show the all dates for each activities. Under project controlling, for controlling the large product, we like to have a control in terms of close monitoring of resources, cost, quality, and the budget. Basically, control means using a feedback loop to revise the project plan and having the ability to shift resources to where they are needed most. Under the project controlling, there are two types of techniques. The one is called the PERT, Program Evolution Review Technique, and second one is CPM, Critical Path Method, that we will study. Now with the help of computerized, it is very easy to frame or solve the problem either through PERT or CPM. They are very frequently used today on a personal computer, and they produce the variety of report, including the detailed cost break for each task, cost distribution table, raw material and expenditure forecast. Now we will come to the project scheduling. Again, it is the specification of starting and the ending times of all activities. Why we are taking the project scheduling? Because now we are going to discuss how to make the network and how to define the activities, and which is a important part of the project scheduling. That is why I am discussing again that it is a specification of starting and the ending time of each activity. Under the activity project monitoring and control, we will see that once all the tasks have been assigned in the project and certain steps are completed, then the project monitoring and controlling process is used by the project manager. It ensures that the performance of the team or the progress with respect to the project goal is satisfactory or not. The purpose of the project monitoring and control is to track all major project variables, just like cost, time, slope, and the quality of deliverables. Under the project monitoring and control, we have certain details which are required for critical path analysis methodology. Sometimes it is very difficult task in case of project management. In spite of difficulties, these methodology, just like PERT, Program Evolution Review Technique, and Critical Path Method, they both found a wide acceptance in manufacturing or in the service sectors. In the literature, we have different case studies which demonstrate the successful application in case of military, in case of banks, in case of hotel, even in case of hospitals also. Popularly known network, they are attributed to scheduling, and they also give us many benefits, especially in terms of ease of uses. The benefits are it provides a visual display of needed tasks, it provides the ordering system, it makes it easy to see how the tasks are sequenced. This assists the communication and the cooperation among the task team, because each team can see how its work affects that of other team. It provides a relatively accurate estimate of time required to complete the project at the proposed resource level. It also identifies and highlights the tasks that are critical to keeping the project on schedule. Other benefits, if you just see, it provides a method for monitoring the project through a cycle. As project process, especially PERT and CPM diagram, they identify the changes in which the tasks are critical and how you are going to meet the expected completion deadline. It provides a convenient method for incorporating the uncertainty regarding the task. In other words, it will try to determine what is the percentage of acceptance or the percentage of chances of completion the project in a stipulated period of time. It provides a method for evaluating the time cost trade-off resulting from the reallocating the resources among the tasks. In other words, we can say there are two variables, one is time and another one is cost. If we want to reduce the cost, we can increase the time spent, and if we want to reduce the time, then definitely the cost will increase. So that is called the time cost trade-off. Now we will come to the main topic of the project management, that is the network analysis technique. Now, in order to overcome the difficulty in terms of scheduling, in terms of defining the time for each activity, there are different network analysis techniques are used which consider the precedence relationship and interdependency of the activity. Network analysis technique provide a means of establishing a schedule for sequentially interdependent activities. Now we are going to discuss PERT and CPM. As we have discussed that both are the very important techniques and widely used in case of project management. They are the most important techniques in case of the project scheduling. The network technique, analysis technique, it shows the relationship of each activity to other and to the whole project. It identifies the precedence relationship among the activities. It encourages the setting of realistic time and the cost estimate for each activity. It also helps how you are using the people, how you are using the money, how you are using the material resources by identifying the critical bottlenecks in case of the projects. There are two important techniques as we have discussed. One is critical path method, another is program evaluation and review technique. Both are used for different purposes. If your time is deterministic, we use CPM. If we are not knowing the time, we will use the PERT technique. CPM was developed for the scheduling maintenance shutdown. It is based on assumption that project activity times can be estimated accurately without any variation, whereas PERT was developed for scheduling the uncertain time estimate activities. These two methods both uses the critical path analysis and widely used in solving the project management problem. CPM deals purely with the deterministic problem, while PERT allows randomness in calculating the activity timing. Let us define again in terms of both technique what we mean by the project. It is a unique venture with a certain beginning and the certain end, undertaken by the pupil to meet the established goal within the defined constant of time, resource and quality. We do not have unlimited resources of time, unlimited resources of materials or the quality. So we have to work under the constant, and that is why it is called as a project. Activity. If we broke the project into the smallest element, that is called the activity. For example, if I want to take the example of construction of house, then planning of the house, construction of the house. The construction of the house will take several activities that will comes just like bringing the cement, bringing the sand, bringing the water, bringing the bricks. They all comes under the different activities. Activity relationship. There exists a relationship between two activities, and that is the most important thing which is required to determine in case of project management technique. Now first we will define the task or the activity. It is a meaningful activity having the short duration. The task or activity represent an identical unit that is performed by a single individual or the group of worker with a clear beginning and the clear ending. For example, in constructing the house, project is divided into the task and the subtask, just like making the house, electric connection, painting. Now we will see what is activity. Activity consumes the time. Activity consumes the resources. Activity in a chart depicted by a single arrow on the project network. The activity arrows are also called as a arc. The length of the activity does not have any significance. We keep the length shorter or longer as per our convenience and clarity. It does not represent the importance of the time. The head of the arrow represents the sequence of arrow or the sequence of the activity. An activity could not begin until the completion of the preceding activity. It is also important to understand that the activity should be well defined so that the beginning and the end of the activity can be identified clearly. Second term is known as event. Event represents a specific accomplishment in the project, and it takes place at a particular instant of time. And the most important characteristic of event, it does not consume the time or the resources. An event in a network is a time-oriented reference point that signifies either the beginning of activity or the end of activity. Events are usually represented in a project network by a circle O. It is also called as nodes. Therefore, major difference between the activity and the event is that activity represents the passage of time, where the events are the points in the time. This is the representation of event and the activity. The first event is shown with the circle, and the finished event is also shown in the form of circle, and the arrow in between represent the activity for first event to the finished event. Now we were talking about the precedence. Let us see how we will define the precedence. Activities that must be completed immediately prior to the start of another activity are called the predecessor activity. For example, activity A is the predecessor activity for B. That means activity A must be completed before the start of activity B. Now we will come to the successor activity. Activity that cannot be started unless or until the earlier activity is completed, but immediately succeed them are called as a successor activities. For example, activity B is a successor activity of A. Unless and until A activity completes, B activity cannot start. Concurrent activity are the activity which are occurring concurrently. It may be pointed out that an activity can be predecessor or successor to the event, or it may be the concurrent with one or more than one other activities. Now, another activity is called the dummy activity. In most of the project, many activities can be performed concurrently or simultaneously. It is also possible that two activities could be drawn by the beginning of same beginning and the same end event. In this situation, we introduce the concept of dummy activity, and the dummy activity does not consume any time or the resources, but it solves the problem. Dummy activity also have the unique end event points. As we have said, dummy activity neither consume time nor consume any resources. This is the example of a dummy activity. You see that A, B, C, D are the activities, and node 2 is joined with node 3 with the help of a dummy activity. So if we say that for activity D, B and that dummy activity are the predecessor, or in case of C, A is the predecessor, in case of B, A is the predecessor. Basic convention techniques used in the project management. Two conventions are normally used which are practiced in displaying the project network. One is called the activity on node, and another one is called the activity on the arc. If we are representing the nodes as activity, this is called as activity on node. If we are representing arrow as a activity, then it is activity on the arc. Now, activity on node in short we called as AON. Now, what are the characteristics of the AON? Each activity is represented by a node in the network. The precedence relationship between the two activities is represented by an arc or the link between the two. AON may be less error prone because it does not need any dummy activities or the arc. This is the example of characteristic of AON when we are representing the activity on nodes A, B and C. When we draw or we put activity on arc, it is called AOA, and here each activity is represented by an arc. Activity X must precede activity Y, or there are activity X leads to Y, thus node represent the events or the milestone, while the arrow represent the activity. The most important point which I want to explain, in case of AOA, we normally include or incorporate dummy activities of zero length with zero resources or the zero time. AOA is more popular because it is similar to Gantt chart and it is used for the scheduling. This is the example of AOA where X, Y, Z activities are represented by the arrow.